Myth of Adapa. In those days, in those distant years, there lived in Eridu a man of extraordinary wisdom, Adapa. He was endowed with intelligence beyond ordinary men. His command carried weight like the command of Anu himself. The god Ea had formed him, setting him as a leader among humanity. To him, Ea gave a discerning ear so that he might understand and reveal the destinies of the land. He granted him wisdom in full measure, but eternal life he did not grant. Adapa was without blemish, pure of hands, consecrated in service, faithful observer of the divine ordinances. Among men he stood unmatched. Even among the great gods, the Anunnaki, his prudence was renowned. In Eridu, he fulfilled the daily order of life. With the bakers, he prepared the bread. With the bakers of Eridu, he labored each day. Food and water for the city he provided without fail. With clean hands, he set the sacred table, and without him it was not cleared. He also took to the waters. He steered the boat, he fished and hunted to sustain Eridu. Thus Adapa served, the faithful servant of order, while Ea rested within his chamber. Each day, Adapa attended to the rites and duties of the city. At the time of the new moon, he went out upon the waters, embarking in his vessel. But as he sailed upon the wide sea, the wind rose against him. The force of it drove his boat off its course. Still, with the oar in his hand, Adapa struggled to guide the vessel across the vast and restless waters. As Adapa sailed upon the sea, the south wind rose violently against him and overturned his boat, casting him into the waters. Driven by its force, he was carried back toward the house of his lord. Then, in anger, Adapa spoke, "O south wind, on your path I will confront you. Your wings I shall break." And as he spoke these words, he struck against the wind, and the wings of the south wind was broken. For 7 days the south wind did not blow upon the land. Then Anu, king of heaven, called to his messenger Ilabrat. "Why has the south wind not blown upon the land for 7 days?" Ilabrat answered, "My lord, Adapa, son of Ea, has broken its wings." When Anu heard this, he was seized with fury and cried out, "Bring him before me." But Ea, who knows the designs of heaven, summoned Adapa and prepared him. He clothed him in garments of mourning and gave him careful instruction. "Adapa, you are to stand before Anu, the king of heaven. When you ascend and approach the gate of Anu, you will find there 2 gods standing, Tammuz and Ningish-Zida. They will see you and ask, 'Why are you dressed in mourning, Adapa? For whom do you appear in such garments?' You shall answer, 'In our land 2 gods have vanished, therefore I am clothed in mourning.' They will ask you, 'Who are these 2 gods?' You shall say, 'Tammuz and Ningish-Zida.' They will look upon one another in astonishment and speak favorably on your behalf before Anu. Thus you will find his face softened toward you. But when you stand before Anu, take heed. They will offer you the food of death. Do not eat. They will offer you the water of death. Do not drink. They will bring garments. Put them on. They will offer oil. Anoint yourself. Do not forget the words I have spoken to you. Hold fast to my command." Then the messenger of Anu arrived. "Adapa, who has broken the wings of the south wind, he is to be brought before the king." And so Adapa took the road to heaven and ascended. When he came to heaven and approached the gate of Anu, there stood Tammuz and Ningish-Zida. Seeing him, they cried out, "Adapa, for whom do you appear in mourning? Why are you clothed in such garments?" And Adapa answered as he had been instructed, "In the land 2 gods have vanished, therefore I am clothed in mourning." They said, "Who are the 2 gods who have vanished?" He answered, "Tammuz and Ningish-Zida." They looked at one another in astonishment and were touched. Then they spoke good words on his behalf before Anu. When Adapa drew near to Anu, king of heaven, Anu looked upon him and said, "Come here, Adapa. Why have you broken the wings of the south wind?" Adapa answered, "My lord, I was fishing in the sea for the house of my lord. The sea lay calm like a mirror. Then the south wind rose and overturned me. I was cast into the deep and driven away. In the anger of my heart, I acted." Tammuz and Ningishzida spoke on his behalf, and Anu's anger was calmed. Yet Anu said, "Why has Ea revealed to mankind the secrets of heaven and earth? He has given him understanding and made his name great among men. What shall we do with him now?" Then Anu gave command, "Bring him the food of life that he may eat." They brought him the food of life, but Adapa did not eat. They brought him the water of life, but Adapa did not drink. They brought him garments, and he clothed himself. They brought him oil, and he anointed himself. Anu looked upon him in astonishment and said, "Adapa, why have you not eaten? Why have you not drank? Now you shall not live." Adapa answered, "Ea, my lord, said to me, 'Eat not, drink not.'" Then Anu spoke, "Take him and return him to the earth." And so Adapa was sent back to the world of men. Commentary. The myth of Adapa survives not as a single complete work, but as a series of fragmentary Akkadian tablets discovered in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The most important copies were found at Tel El Amarna in Egypt, dating to the 14th century BCE during the Amarna period, and in the library of Ashurbanipal at Nineveh, 7th century BCE. These tablets preserve overlapping versions of the same tradition rather than a single continuous narrative. Because of their fragmentary state, modern reconstructions of the myth are based on combining multiple damaged sources. One of the early English translations was produced by Robert W. Rogers in his 1912 work, Cuneiform Parallels to the Old Testament. His translation reflects the state of Assyriology at the time and remains influential, though later scholars have refined readings as additional fragments and improved Akkadian understanding became available. In context, the Adapa myth belongs to the broader intellectual and theological world of ancient Mesopotamia that predates the time before the flood, where it functioned as an explanation for the human condition. Humanity possesses wisdom and cultural knowledge, yet remains mortal.